Hey, Matthew Swinnerton here from Vent Santa Cruz, and I am super excited because today we get to interview Jesse Daniel, a good friend of mine. It's been over 7 years. He is on the road. He has a new album, a new single, and we're super excited. So let's get him right in there. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, how are you, Matthew?
Good. Thank you so much for taking the time here. I know you're a busy guy.
Absolutely. I'm glad I could take some time and talk with you. Always a pleasure, man. How you been?
Good. Can't complain. I do want to go back to memory lane, so we're going to do that. But first, I want to talk about now, because this is, I mean, if you're a Jesse Daniel fan, in the last week, you dropped a song, a video, the announcement of the new album, and didn't you also announce the dates for the tour?
Yeah, absolutely. We announced a bunch of summer tour dates, so we're going to be kind of all over the place this year. You know,
man, you don't trinkle the information. You just bombed it all at once.
That's it. That's kind of the new way that we've been doing things. Is just trying to get it all out there at once. You know, because I feel like people are so inundated with a lot of information with social media and stuff, and it just it has to get it all out there, and people can digest it as it comes. You know.
Okay, so let me ask you: it's more like a mindset question, but you release a new song, you release a video, or even when you're releasing the album soon, are you more excited to have okay, are people going to hear the music? Are you nervous? What are they going to think about the baby that I just created? What are you thinking?
Definitely, all those thoughts come into my mind, you know, and I think a lot of artists' minds when you've created something and you're about to, like you just said, release it into the world. So I definitely have felt all those things as the years have gone on, and I've gotten more used to putting out music and being on stage and traveling and stuff. I've gotten a lot more used to not caring as much about what people have to say about it, good or bad, and just putting it out because I believe in it. And that's kind of the mindset, at least, that I try to have nowadays, you know, because it's easy, especially when you're starting out, to really be concerned and worried about what people are going to think, and if you get negative press or positive press on it. And now you know, they say, you know, any publicity is good publicity, you know, and if people like it or don't, that's okay. I just try to make the most you know, pure good music that I can make, and that's kind of where I'm at, and that's how I feel like this record is. It's like the most pure distilled version of Jesse Daniel that I think we've you know, been able to capture on a recording. So I'm real excited about it, man.
That is awesome. Let's dive into that then. So you're the sole producer of this one.
Yes.
How did that idea come about? Because all the last three you co-produced, right, with others?
Absolutely, yeah. The last three studio records, you know, the first one I co-produced with Henry Chadwick. You know, shout out to Henry. We did that up at his studio and at the compound in Ben Lomond. And then the other two, we went and, you know, I co-produced them with Tommy Dedamore down in San Antonio, Texas area. And so, you know, this record, I knew that I wanted to do something different than I had ever done. And I've always had a hand in the production, and I'm very particular about what things I want where and how I want it to sound. But this record, I really wanted it to have a cohesive element of it, and for it to really be, you know, all of those instrumental arrangements, all of the hits, all the stops, everything. I wanted it to be exactly kind of how I had imagined it originally, you know. And I thought, what better way to do that than to take the reins and really produce it myself. And I was really nervous to do that because that's a big job, you know. And when I got into the studio, some of the guys that were playing on this record were from George Strait's Ace in the Hole band and Willie Nelson's family band. And so, you know, they're looking at me like, all right, boss, what do we do, basically, you know? And the pressure was on, and I was like, oh, man. But it was kind of one of those trial by fire things where I just got into the zone, and I'm glad I produced it, you know, myself, because it ended up being exactly, you know, what I wanted it to be. And I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to the music aspect of that stuff. So I'm glad we did that.
were you always a control freak from album number one? Or do you feel like more and more you've learned about what works and what you want to see on the final vinyl?
I think both. You know, I've always been pretty, maybe a better word than control freak would be, you know, I've had a clear vision of what I like, you know, my stuff to sound like and my songs to sound like in the production. But, you know, when you're working with somebody else and having a co-producer, you have a little bit more of a give and take. You know, you don't want to railroad somebody. If they've got a good idea, try to be open to that, you know. Which has been a lot of fun in the past. But for this one, I was kind of determined to just go it alone and really go inside myself and see what I could pull out, you know, and what I could do.
Is this a departure at all in any way? Or are you still leaning into the Bakersfield roots, country roots? Or like, what do you feel like this album is going to show us?
Man, I would say it's definitely still very much like rooted in that Bakersfield sound and in the country music tradition of California. You know, even though I recorded it in Austin, Texas, that's like kind of a part of me that you can't, you know, that's always going to be a part of me, is that California country and that love for that music. But I really just wanted to make the most rockin' country record that I had ever made. And I feel like a lot of the songs on this record, there's some different themes. I think it's the best collection of songs also, you know, that I've written. I'm really proud of the ones that Jodi and I wrote together on this record too.
Nice.
And so it's, I'd say it's a little bit of the grit from the first record, but with a new kind of improved sheen on it.
So is there any of that Jesse Daniel punk drummer in there?
A little bit, yeah. There actually is, definitely there is. There's a couple tunes on there that have some pretty syncopated spots that I think even the punk rockers will enjoy for sure.
Nice. Okay, so you're going to go on tour soon. I counted, and I could have been wrong because my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. 54 dates till like from now to September. That's a ridiculous amount of shows. I always love to see the science on how like bands put a set list together. Like, okay, do I start off like hard? Do I, you know, like go slow and build up? What songs do I put out of my catalog? How did you put this current set list together? And is it even pretty, oh no, I guess you're already touring, so it's already together. How did you put that? How do you compile the set list?
You know, the way, that's a great question. In the past, you know, we've kind of worked it out as we've gone, you know, and it's always kind of an evolving thing. But for the last few years, I've gotten really into making a set list that is a show, you know, that like you said, it starts out strong and then it kind of crescendos and it goes to the lows and the highs, and it's a little bit of a roller coaster. And any of the bands that I've seen, like the great bands I've seen, you know, from country legends to rock legends to, you know, whatever type of music, when there's a big production, I feel like they have a really dramatic show, you know, and it takes you on that journey. And so that's what I tried to do with our set, especially this year. We've got a lot of different elements to this set. We added a fiddle player to the band.
Oh, cool.
You know, and we're also doing some bluegrass stuff in this set. So we added a lot of new elements, and that's something I spent a lot of time and effort sitting down and kind of painstakingly going through each song, seeing which song is in the same key as the next song so that they could blend into the next one, you know, and really making it the best, you know, experience for the concert goer, for the listener, you know. It's also a lot of fun for us to play too.
Yeah, that makes it more enjoyable. Yeah.
Exactly, for everybody.
I can't wait to actually see that because, you know, I've seen every tour. I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah, I mean, I've seen and we'll talk about the backyard, you know, things we've done. But from the set list that you had the last couple of years, it was a performance. I mean, it's like a show, like you said. It's not just we're playing some songs. And so if you're saying you've even upped your game on that one, if you've not seen, I'm telling this to the interviewer, I mean, people are listening, if you've not seen his show, you got to go out this tour. It's going to be amazing.
I appreciate that.
So let's talk about it. Okay, Memory Lane, 7 years plus ago, before the self-titled album came out. I remember like you and I were sitting like in front of across the street from New Leaf, or like on Highway 9, and you're telling me like this is my plan for the future, where I think you've already surpassed it of your plans. But we were like, okay, where should we do a show? We did some, and we're like, okay, let's do this one show. We walked behind Jodi's tattoo shop. We're like, let's do it in this backyard. And we never did it though.
No, I remember talking about that. Yeah, back in Jodi's old tattoo shop.
Yeah.
So we did some cool things though. It's always, a great thing to be a part of the Santa Cruz community, and everything you've done with Event Santa Cruz.
Oh, thank you.
It's always home. You know what I mean? No matter where I go, Santa Cruz is always in my heart. It's like kind of a gravitational pull that brings me back there every year, and I always look forward to this specific show that we're going to be playing.
Well, I think we're pulling for you because you do this annual show at the Catalyst recently. I think this is like 3rd year, and it's just like it is the show of the year. I mean, it is super exciting. Everybody comes. It's awesome. I want to wrap up, but I do want to ask you 2 more questions, and one of it is kind of related to that.
Yeah.
In the last 7 years or so, when you think of an amazing moment of a show that you did, you were on stage and you were like, you might have quite a few, but you're like, this just works. This is amazing. I can't believe I do this for a job. What show was that? Can you remember it all?
Not to beat a dead horse here, but the Catalyst definitely was one of those moments. The first time that we had played the main stage was
it was amazing.
2022, and that was something. I went to my very first concert ever at the Catalyst. I can't remember who it was. I think my dad took me and my brothers, to see Smash Mouth there years ago when we were little kids, and and then over the years, I saw a whole bunch of bands as I worked there, and I got to see country bands, punk rock, hip hop, whatever, you name it. And so I always kind of dreamed about being on that stage. So when I saw that we had sold it out, and it was like a big packed room, just like I'd seen all those years when I was working as a stagehand there, that was like a full circle moment for me, to get to do that.
There it is.
Yeah. So that's it. The Catalyst. I'd say the next runner up for that would be a festival that we got to headline last year in Spain.
That looked insane.
It was like 6,000 people, and they were all up there, up front, singing all the words, and they were just fired up. And I didn't know how much Europeans liked American music, but they loved it, and that was one of those moments where I was like, just like you said, I'm so fortunate to be able to do this, and that I'm here to kind of fulfill this purpose. I think that's what I'm here to do, is to provide that music for people, make people's lives better in the process of also fulfilling myself in doing that. And so it's kind of this, not to get too philosophical with it, but this like symbiotic kind of relationship. I think that's what music is. It helps people, and it also helps the artist to be able to do.
You do, and you've made, me proud, Santa Cruz proud. It's so cool to see the achievements you've made in a short period of time. Again, like I said, little shows that we did behind a brewery or a backyard, or making videos with my iPhone.
Absolutely, yeah. From the humble beginnings, man. Yeah, you've been there, and I really appreciate that. Truly.
Oh, no, excited. Okay, so this Friday, April the 12th, at the Catalyst. Tickets are still on sale. Hope everybody, you got to come. Are we going to hear Coming Apart at the Seams that night?
You just might. You just might hear it.
Okay, go ahead. I was going to come anyway, but I hope to hear that. No, great.
Oh, yeah.
Great. So we will see you on Friday. Thanks so much. Tell Jodi we said hi, and we'll see you on Friday.
All right, definitely, Matthew. Thank you so much.
Thanks. See you soon.
All right.
Okay, so that was Jesse. Oh my goodness, really. April the 12th, Friday at the Catalyst. Got to come. Amazing show. And then check him out on all the socials, Jesse Daniel. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you soon.